everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today's art video is a little bit different to what I usually do. Most of the time I do traditional art using markers, watercolor, pencils, anything like that. But recently I've been trying to do a little bit more digital art, and it's a little bit of a goal of mine, I guess. I mainly use digital art to draw, say, line art or to sketch or something like that, or usually to fix up a sketch that I previously drew. However, I don't always do complete polished images in digital art. So today I actually wanted to do that because I like to mix things up and try different stuff, and today's video is a little bit of that. It's mainly trying different techniques, that kind of thing. So as you can see, I'm drawing two figures here, or three. One is me, the other is my partner Jessie holding a Nintendo Switch, and then the other is a little cat. And basically this artwork is for Jazza's challenge of the month. The theme that he did this month was pretty interesting actually. It was called My Oasis, and it's sort of like if you could create any kind of VR world. It doesn't have to be VR, but like if you could create any world where anything you wanted you could make, then what would you do? So knowing me, I'm pretty simple in what I like and stuff, and I don't know, I kind of just wanted to create an interesting world where it's pretty much relaxing and you can do whatever you like. And a lot of this artwork actually has a lot of the stuff like that I like, and yeah, I don't know, I just thought that it was an interesting concept, and I thought that it would be fun to try. So of course, being my ideal world where anything I want happens, my boyfriend is there because pretty much he is amazing, and of course I want to include him in my artwork. I've also got a cat because I love animals so much. Now I guess I should probably start talking about how I'm drawing this and what I'm planning to do with this artwork. I'm actually using my iPad Pro to draw this in an app called Procreate. Now, a lot of the time when I do digital art, people always ask me what program I use. I mostly do use Procreate, and sometimes I'll try out other little things like Clip Studio Pro, etc. But Procreate is still my main tool for digital art and digital sketching and inking. So in my created world, I guess, my oasis, it's mostly clouds, and I don't know, I wanted to have a relaxing feel to the artwork. So I decided to do lots of like swirly little pink and orange clouds. Now I chose mostly warm colors for this artwork because I wanted it to have a very warm feel to it, and I wanted basically no cool colors in the artwork at all. Now of course, being up in the clouds, you're going to have a little bit of blue for the sky, etc. But I tried to make sure that it was mostly blue-greens. You will see that later in the artwork. I actually changed it up a whole lot, but yeah. Now to draw this piece, I actually wanted a very limited line style. Now I wanted to do mainly colors and minimal, like basic shading and textures, I guess, but I still wanted it to have a very soft and light feel to it. So I actually didn't do any line art for this artwork. I mainly used a polished sketch, and then I put the colors in a different layer underneath, and basically I just tried to shade to get you know, the outlines and that kind of thing. And it was a little bit interesting for me because lately I've been using a technique where you put a layer above the color layer and you put it in overlay, which you've probably heard me say this before. And you basically use different colors to shade and highlight the piece. Now I mainly use colors that are, I don't know, similar to the color, I guess, but a little bit different. Of course, with overlay, it will still change the color further, so it makes it closer to the version of whatever you're coloring over the top of. So if I use colors over the purple for her shirt, they'll mostly be purpley kind of colors, and then if I go over the green in his shirt in the same layer with the same color, it'll be more greeny kind of colors. And I actually really like this because you can use this technique to shade anywhere, and basically it will do pretty much one layer for the whole artwork. Now I did use a few different layers for the shading, just because I had different objects in the artwork, and sometimes I may have wanted to adjust the opacity for that layer a little bit, just to make the layers a little bit more subtle and some a little bit more pronounced. Now I actually really love the shading I did for the male's shirt, Jesse's shirt. I don't know, I just really like the way I did it, and it's not too crazy or anything like that, but it does show the shape of his chest, etc. And yeah, I don't know, it's just really pleasing to do. This kind of painting style is actually pretty relaxing for me, because once you get all the solid colors down, you can pretty much just, you know, mix around the shadows and like use the little smearing tool that they have, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Now for drawing the hair, I actually did change the hair a lot. Just the main base color for both of them, I actually changed it around a bit, because I don't know, with the shading layer, sometimes the color you try to shade with, it turns to a slightly different color, and that annoys me a little bit, because it'll end up making it look more orangey when I wanted it a bit more of a yellow highlight. So I end up changing that around a little bit just to try and get it a more of a yellowy highlight tone. But yeah, it ended up alright, and it took a little bit of experimentation, but I finally got there in the end. Now in this crazy imagination world, I of course wanted to include Pokemon, so I drew an adorable little Pikachu. So in this world, I guess Pokemon and Dragon Balls are real, and there's a little castle in the corner, because I just really like castles and I like to include them in my artworks whenever I can. Of course, there is a Nintendo Switch, and Jesse obviously has his iPhone with him because he loves that damn thing. And yeah, I don't know, so I guess that world has infinite free Wi-Fi, which is pretty cool. And obviously gaming consoles. See, I drew the Nintendo Switch, but I actually wrote Swish on it instead, because I just thought that would be interesting, and sometimes I call my Switch my Swish. I don't know why. I can be silly sometimes. So, you know, I've just changed the background a little bit. I've made the furthest part of the background to be a more of a bluey tinge, but it's still got a little bit of green in there because I don't want it really cold. And then I've made the clouds a little bit more pink, I guess. Now, of course, it wouldn't be my fantasy world without tea, because tea is my favorite beverage. It is the bringer of life and energy. So I wanted to draw a really cute little tea set in this. I had them, you know, different angles and stuff, because I guess the items are kind of floating around, I guess. But yeah, I did the same technique where I do the overlay layer, and that actually turned out really cool, because I don't know, I think the tea was probably the most satisfying part of this illustration. I just found it really fun, and the little tea set turned out really nice, I think. So here is the final artwork, and I am very pleased with this. I actually only had a couple days to finish it, and it's interesting because Procreate actually tells you the track time of how long this took. It doesn't record the whole time, just the time that the pen was on the screen. So this actually took me about 8 hours of track time to draw. Now, for a simple artwork, that's pretty interesting, because you wouldn't think that with how simple it looks. However, this took me a long time. But you know what? I'm glad that I did it, and yeah. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone!